It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Chicka chicka boom boom. It's the Leo be the Lion show. Boom boom. Gonna tell you what you need to know. Boom boom. Now here comes your boy Leo. Hey everybody, it's your boy Leo be the Lion coming to you live from Respectable Street via subcultureradio.com and every Monday from 6 to 7 live here on Clematis in beautiful West Palm Beach, Florida. You can follow me on YouTube and IG at Leo Be the Lion Show and take a look at my videos. I was recently posting some things about some traffic issues that was grinding my gears the other day, and so check that out. And this is the Leo Be the Lion Show. I come to you every week on Mondays live, like I said, to bring you the latest in sports and business with the South Florida flavor, specifically for the West Palm Beach, Palm Beach County, Tri-County area, South Florida as it's known. So we got a jam-packed show for you today. I have a few sports to talk about and a few things that I did over the weekend. And let's start it off with Friday of the weekend on 4/21. I was able to have the day off because some days I work on Saturdays for my day job while I'm not here giving you these radio shows. For my day job, I work Saturdays some days, some weeks, so then I get to choose a day off for the next week. That's simple, right? So I was off and I just relaxed and watched playoff basketball. I was getting to see my son, so that was good this weekend. And on Saturday, we ended up going to the beach, and we were able to chill on the beach. Got some good shells. It was a perfect we caught it at low tide, so it was a perfect beach day. The weather was perfect this weekend to go to the beach. Yeah, it was a little bit hot, but that water would cool you off. And we didn't see too much wildlife in terms of stingrays, man o' wars, stuff you don't want at the beach while you're trying to enjoy the water, and stuff that everybody is always like lurking at the beach. So yeah, we didn't see too much of that. It was pretty low tide. We got to go out on Palm Beach at one of the public beaches. We got some parking about 30 minutes before everybody started coming to the beach. And so it was a great day on Saturday. We went to Flanagan's because what's South Florida without a beach day, and then you go to Flanagan's after. It's pretty cool. I had some good food at Flanagan's, and then on Sunday my son had his second flag football game of the season. He is a member of the Baltimore Ravens in Tyreek Hill's flag football league, and they were playing the Chiefs. And his friend Xavier, who he goes to school with, was on the team, and they played against each other. And my son, the Ravens won 28-6. And he did a good job of tackling. And when I say tackling, pull the flag because they're playing flag football, obviously. And then one thing that I noticed this past week that I really wanted to touch base, and I should have talked about it last week, but I wasn't able to do my show last week. But this week, I do want to make a special mention to a sad day for Lone Pine residents and anybody that went to the Lone Pine Golf Club. The Lone Pine Golf Club had its last day of service on 4/16 before they begin the process of transferring ownership to D.R. Horton for the Lone Pine Golf Club area. They're going to level the ground, come in and bulldoze and level the ground, and they're going to, what their plan says, quote unquote, D.R. Horton says is going to build affordable housing, townhomes, and some single family homes. And yeah, it's affordable housing is great, and we all know the need for affordable housing down here in the Tri-County area, especially Palm Beach County, is tremendous. It's a huge need for affordable housing. I was just against that. I was against the only affordable golf course and the only golf course that was in Riviera Beach city limits. I was just opposed to those going away. I grew up going to that golf course, learning how to golf on that golf course, going with my father, going with friends, going with family, going with anybody that came to visit. And you could count on it being in the summertime. You could count on, yeah, it wasn't the best, well maintained golf course because it was affordable. It was only like $25 to ride for two people, $25 per person, or $40 for two people to ride at Lone Pine Golf Course. But it was worth it because you knew you were getting it. It was a par 62 course, no par fives, just pars, threes, and fours. And it was just a nice little beginner course that you could play on. And I always used to say, the way that the greens were shaped and everything, if you can play on this, you should be able to play on even more well-maintained courses. But the reason why I have an issue with this is that we see now where these local governments are headed, where they just want to get the cash. Like, I mean, it's always been like that, but now it's like not even hiding in your face because they took away the only affordable golf course. I'm willing to say it's the most affordable golf course in Palm Beach County, and let alone Riviera Beach and West Palm Beach area. And then they replaced the West Palm Beach Municipal Golf Course that had been closed for a few years with a partnership with Tiger Woods and several other golfers. They're now calling that golf course the Park. And in my opinion, it's Dumb and Dumber at this point because I went on to check the tee times today because I was just like, oh, yeah, what if I ever wanted to play golf at West Palm Beach at, quote unquote, the Park? And it's $180 for one person. So basically, two people, it's $180 to play per person. And that was at all the tee times. There wasn't any difference in the tee times, like after 4 or what have you. And the frustrating part is that it's like that's $150 more than it would have cost that Lone Pine Golf Course. And even if you revamp Lone Pine Golf Course and you ask Tiger Woods to put his name to it, or you ask Nick Faldo or one of the numerous golfers that make Palm Beach County their home, it's the golf capital of the world, some would say Palm Beach County is. To say that, and then to not look at doing the same for Lone Pine, maybe turning that into the Riviera, or quote unquote the Riviera Beach Municipal Golf Course, and then maybe only charging $50 to $60 because that's still kind of expensive, but that's really, I mean, would be affordable still. But those points are mute now because the Lone Pine Golf Course no longer is. Now it is a was. And if you didn't have the opportunity to play there, you missed out. And now we'll see how much traffic, how much crime, how much problems the new affordable housing developments that are going to replace Lone Pine Golf Course, how much problems that's going to bring. We shall see. There were so many options for Riviera Beach to buy the golf course from the guy, from the owner, and maybe turn it into a municipal golf course. I'm just frustrated. I'm going to get to the next point now. We're going to move from the Lone Pine Golf Course being closed and it's going to be turned into housing without any consideration for the residents nor the Planning and Zoning Committee, which denied the rezoning request. But the Riviera Beach commissioners went through with the request anyway. And now they're turning it into affordable housing because they want to get more property tax dollars. It's just easy as that. We weren't born yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I might have been born at night, but I was not born last night. And it's frustrating that these city commissioners, these county commissioners, are kind of not doing what's best for their constituents. They're doing what's best for their pockets or their lobbyers' pockets. So let's just leave it at that. Now, over this weekend, we had a pay-per-view boxing matchup, a non-title fight, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan the King Garcia. And Gervonta Tank Davis, he was able to knock out Ryan Garcia in the 7th round. It was a left body shot right below the chest of Ryan Garcia, and he went down to one knee several seconds after getting punched. And the ref was looking at him, and he was looking at Tank Davis, and Ryan Garcia said he shook his head that he can't continue. He had gotten knocked down earlier in the fight, but he was able to get back up. And he got knocked down earlier in the fight with a counter punch that caught him off guard to the head, and he got knocked down. But then coming into the fight, I was thinking to myself, Garcia's fast. He's got his speed. He's got the notoriety with that and his reach, and he's taller than Tank Davis. So I was like, okay, so maybe there's a outside shot that Ryan Garcia wins. But I was going for Tank Davis. I was texting my friends like, who you guys got? I think Tank. That's how we were going with. And it was going to be Ryan Garcia's speed and height versus Tank's ability to power through that and work inside and see what he could get. But now, days after the fight, after he lost the fight, Ryan Garcia is coming out and saying that there was a mole in his training camp, alluding to that there possibly might have been an injury in his training camp that was a secret and that they didn't want to get out to the public, and supposedly that Tank knew this information because there was a mole in Ryan Garcia's camp. Now, personally, I think if that is true, it sounds like first of all, it sounds like a big excuse. Even though Ryan Garcia said it's no excuse, it's no, I just sad that somebody crossed me that I was close to, but I think it's an excuse personally. It was he looked kind of bad, like for him to go down with that shot. But if you get hit in the liver in the right spot, you get hit in the body in the right spot, it's hard to come back from that. And he looked like he was in a lot of pain. Maybe his ribs or something like that had been injured prior to the fight. But regardless, Tank took the fight. He had already knocked down Ryan Garcia once, and then to be able to put him down with a body shot, that's a great way to finish the fight. Another thing I do want to mention about this fight is, though, if there was a mole in Ryan Garcia's camp, it was probably a former fighter. Like I'm willing to throw Oscar De La Hoya under the bus. I say that probably Oscar De La Hoya, if there was a mole, it was probably him. He's promoting the fight. He wants to see a good fight. He wants to get more buys. Oscar De La Hoya is doing things his way now, so if he wanted to, how else would it be like, yeah, that's my guy, Ryan Garcia is my guy, but then there's a mole. And so who knows? They might have found out who it was or they didn't. But after this, Tank Davis still stays undefeated, and Ryan Garcia gets his first loss, professional loss. So now, after that, after talking about the great boxing match that happened over the weekend, and I'm going to keep mentioning Lone Pine Golf Course being closed forever to make way for more housing, without considering the traffic impact, without considering the crime impact, without considering the home price value impact on other surrounding homes that are existing. And D.R. Horton actually has litigation against them currently, so it's kind of frustrating that they would sell to that, but it's a capitalistic society in which we live in, and shit goes to the highest dollar, so to the highest bidder, and that's just how life goes. You can't worry about it. So let's get to the NFL latest mock draft. Tom McShay released his latest mock draft, and I must say, we're going to go over the first few top 10 picks of what he thinks is going to happen, and then we are going to get into the Dolphins picks of what I think is going to happen, as well as some other picks and some other NFL news that has just come down the pike today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll preview it and just say Aaron Rodgers is officially a Jet now. Finally. I booked it like a month ago, but hey, he's officially a Jet now. So let's get into Todd McShay's Draft Buzz, his 2023 Draft Buzz on ESPN Plus. And we'll go over the teams in the top 10 and see how he's doing. So, and see how it's gonna roll out, how it's gonna shape out. And usually these mock drafts are pretty good, but the one thing that they can't take into account is their ability to account for draft day trades and draft trading and draft movement in up and down in picks. So let's go. The first round takes place on ESPN networks at 8 p.m. on April 27th. That's Thursday. First round. Then you have on Friday night the second and the third round, and then on Saturdays round 4 through 7. So the first overall pick belongs to the Carolina Panthers, and it's almost a foregone conclusion at this point that they are going to draft Bryce Young. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out Wednesday or Thursday and said, we've offered Bryce a contract, and they just announced the pick right away, like a la how they did with Carson Palmer back in the day with the Bengals and a few other quarterbacks where they know if they're going to draft this guy, they draft him right away, and they don't wait. They just move on to the next pick. So he's the top-ranked Young is the top-ranked prospect in the class, and he hopefully can be a fix for the Panthers. Now let's go to the number 2 pick projected for Todd McShay's mock draft, and that is the Houston Texans. They say that the Houston Texans are trying to get a quarterback, but we shall see, because the rumor has it, and a lot of people around the NFL have said that the Texans are not interested in C.J. Stroud, and that the quarterback, that they might not necessarily go quarterback. The Texans were pretty bad last year, and so they, like these top 5 picks, a lot of these teams need multiple positions. They have needs at multiple units, multiple positions, everything like that. So Houston Texans not only need a quarterback, but they need other positions. And if they don't go with C.J. Stroud, Todd McShay is thinking Will Anderson as an edge rusher. But I personally think they may trade back. We'll see what happens with the Texans to see what they can do if anybody wants to jump up at that number 2 pick to get C.J. Stroud, or they think that teams that are outside the top 10 maybe want to jump in at number 2. So let's see. Then you have number 3, Arizona Cardinals. And with the Cardinals, according to Todd McShay, they might be desperate to move out of this spot, so they might be willing to trade back. They don't, their quarterback class, it's more of a mid-first rounder class, not necessarily the top 3 picks. You can still get quarterbacks in the middle of the round. You still have Hendon Hooker, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis. There's a bunch of quarterbacks in this year's draft. But also, there's a lot of teams that want to move up. So the Arizona Cardinals at this point would have the ability to move up, and they still have their star quarterback, and they have a new coach in what's his name, Jonathan, hired defensive-minded coach Jonathan Gannon, and they want to probably protect. I think they're going to probably protect Kyler Murray at this point, because he's been injured. He's missed games these past couple years. And so let's see if they go offensive line. A couple of names that McShay mentions, Peter Skronsky. That'd be kind of early at number 3. But also they could move back and get picks. And also they could get Broderick Jones or Paris Johnson Jr. We should see. McShay has all 3 of those offensive linemen rated at top 14, so they should be still available for the draft. Then let's go to the next pick, and the next pick in the 4th round, or the 4th pick in the draft, belongs to the Indianapolis Colts. I really think, and so does McShay, believe that the Colts will probably most likely get Will Levis, the quarterback out of Kentucky. He's an athletic quarterback. He's a strong quarterback. There's been YouTube videos, and IG videos about him gaining weight, bulking up in the offseason, getting even stronger. And to have a strong quarterback, that's a great asset, because they're less likely to get injured if you're stronger. Protects your muscles, protects your ligaments and tendons if your muscles are stronger and your bones are stronger. So that's a good plus for the Indianapolis Colts, trying to get after Will Levis. They seemed intrigued by him because in the past few years, the Colts have gone after older veteran quarterbacks like Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. They've gone after older or veteran QBs that they thought could just fill the stopgap, but now it seems to be that there's a buzz to Will Levis going to the Colts. They want to change directions and go with a young QB instead of picking up a veteran free agent, and I can't argue with that. I mean, I really think either Will Levis in this spot, or if C.J. Stroud's available, go with him. But the Colts probably want to go with a taller quarterback so that they can have that mold of the Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning type guy. And so let's see if this could happen. But if the Colts keep Will Levis if he's available, and they feel that Arizona, somebody's not going to trade up and get like to number 3 to get Will Levis. The Colts will stay at 4, and let's see how they do. At number 5, this is an interesting pick. At number 5, the 5th pick belongs to the Seattle Seahawks, and they have 2 picks in this draft. Or in the first round, they have a pick at number 5 and a pick at 20. And this is really intriguing because the signs out of the camp, signs out of the rumors mill is that the Seahawks want a quarterback. Could this be Anthony Richardson? Could this be a Will Levis if they're still available? Could it be a C.J. Stroud if he's still available? If they're not available, if those guys are not available, then look for Seattle to go defense and get an edge rusher like get a defensive anchor like Jalen Carter, and then leave their 20th pick for a possible QB. They're not in a hurry. They're not in a rush to jump up in the draft because they have the 2 picks. So they'll be able to most likely have their cake and eat it too, and basically pick, since they have 2 picks in the first round, get 2 starters, day 1 starters, basically, as that can happen. But the good thing about drafting, if they did draft a quarterback, they have Geno Smith coming back as the comeback player of the year and getting stronger, getting better, another year under the system. They have Geno Smith as the starter right now, so they could have that rookie sit for a bit and see what it can do. Then the next pick is the Detroit Lions at number 6. Detroit Lions, this one is interesting also because McShay has them possibly looking at a quarterback, but I don't think that's that intriguing. They still have Jared Goff, who's only 28 years old. I think and a lot of people think that the number 1 need for the Lions is that they need to bolster their secondary, bolster their defense. The Lions' defense was 31 out of 32 ranked last year in scoring defense. The Lions need to bolster their defense, so look for the Lions to try to pick up either this defensive back from Illinois, Devin Witherspoon, or Oregon's Christian Gonzalez. Look for them to either bolster their almost league-worth scoring defense, or they might make a splash and get some more weapons for Jared Goff. But I don't think they're going to go quarterback here at number 6, or they might chop the pick, who knows. But Dan Campbell, let's see. I think Dan Campbell was happy with Jared Goff last year, but I know he wasn't happy with the Lions defense last year, and neither were Lions fans. My friend Isaac, who's a huge Lions fan, I know was happy that some of the moves they've made, the Lions have made this offseason. So if they could put a good draft together now, especially with Aaron Rodgers not being in the NFC North is going to be wide open for the division. So let's see what can happen there. Let's move on to the 7th pick in the NFL draft. McShay has, and the Raiders are picking at number 7. And earlier in the offseason, the Raiders did try to explore a trade to get up to number 1 for Bryce Young, but they weren't able to get that trade, and it went to the Panthers from the Bears. But now, according to McShay, everything he's hearing from Las Vegas has the Raiders being out on quarterback. So they need a quarterback, though. But the Raiders probably this year are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. They have a backup, I believe, in Marcus Mariota, I want to say. He was on the Raiders. I don't even know who their backup is. Jared Stidham, somebody. I'm just throwing names that I had. If you know who it is, let me know. I'm about to try and see if I can look real quick. But anyway, I'll get back to that later. I'll correct it on next week's show. But anyway, so the Raiders, McShay believes that the Raiders need to draft defense here, and that they'll go with either a corner in Devon Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez. They're both top-tier corners at the position, but it comes down whether the Raiders want a bump-and-run guy or more of a cover guy. So we'll figure out how they want to go for what the Raiders want to do with that position. I personally still think that they should either go quarterback or go offensive line. They had Josh Jacobs run wild last year, and so if Josh Jacobs can continue to do that, if they can bolster the offensive line, get him maybe Skronsky or Paris Johnson Jr., they'll be able to bolster that O-line. Maybe the Raiders can depend on their running attack now more often than not, because their quarterback play is not going to get it done next year. Let's move to number 8 in the draft. According to Todd McShay, the Atlanta Falcons are going to go with a cornerback in the top 10 as long as Witherspoon and Gonzalez aren't off the board. They want one of those two players to complement A.J. Terrell on the opposite side of the secondary. But the one thing that now we're starting getting to up in 8. We're at the first past the quarter point of all the teams in the draft, 8 to 32. Now we've already done 25% of the draft. This is where you could see a little of things that are shocking. You might not see it in these first 8 picks, but Bijan Robinson comes on the board, available now after this 8th, 9th. Todd McShay thinks that the Falcons could even take a flyer on them as early as 8. And I really do think whichever team gets Bijan Robinson is going to benefit greatly, because we all know that running backs, especially out of any position, their best years are primarily their first few years. Running backs, I always will remember Clinton Portis having back-to-back 1,500-yard rushing seasons first 2 years in the league. That's my benchmark. And, of course, probably other teams, Chris Johnson, other rookie running backs have done great, and other sophomore running backs have done excellent. So it just comes down to who's going to get him, because Bijan Robinson is the second-rated player overall in the draft, and he's the first-rated running back. But now in the NFL's day and age now, there's not very many running backs that are paid like the highest players in the league, nor are they treated or valued as high in the league. It's kind of like a plug-and-play position, but when you do have a good running back, you hold on to him for as long as you can, or for as long as he performs and produces. So let's go to number 9, the Chicago Bears. They switched with the Panthers and got rid of DJ Moore as well. Or they picked up DJ Moore as their number 1 pick, or number 1 wide receiver for Justin Fields. And it looks like the Bears could go with Jalen Carter out of Georgia. It would be nice to put an anchor on the 3-4 that they run, and on the 4-3 that they run, because the 3 technique, you'll be able to have that D tackle get penetration up the middle of the D line and the O line. So they think that Todd McShay thinks that Jalen Carter is going to be that pick. Then if he's not there, Gordon McShay, they could draft back for even more capital. They were the number 1 overall pick, so the Bears need more than just one defensive player. They need a few positions. So if they drop back and got more draft capital, that might be something interesting. Maybe they could get Georgia's linebacker Nolan Smith, or Pitt's Kalijah Cansey. We'll see. So now, also, if they hold fast at number 9, they could take a left tackle or offensive lineman with that pick in Skronsky or Paris Johnson Jr. or the Broderick James that I mentioned. So now, with the 10th pick, like I said, I'm going over the 10th pick and then the Dolphins draft and then a couple other interesting teams. 10th pick, the Eagles have the 10th pick. And the fact that the Eagles got the 10th pick, they must have got it from somebody that they, picked it up from. Because, damn, to have the 10th pick and you were in the Super Bowl last year, that's pretty good. So look for the Eagles to go either defensive line or offensive line. Yeah, they say, we should get Bijan Robinson here if he's available, because imagine putting Bijan Robinson with Jalen Hurts, and I agree, that would be an excellent fit. But they really need to address other players before they go with running back. They could afford to miss and reach on Bijan Robinson, and not necessarily wouldn't be a reach. But he still may be available deeper into the first round, and maybe the Eagles could trade back. Let's see. So you are listening to the Leo B. the Lion show. and watching it on YouTube at Leo B. The Lion Show or on IG at Leo B. The Lion Show. I come to you live every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern at Subculture Radio at Respectable Street here on Clematis in beautiful downtown West Palm Beach, Florida. And we're going through the NFL draft and Todd McShay's top 10 mock draft right now. And let's get into a couple intriguing teams. One team that I think is really intriguing is the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are in the QB mix. Ryan Tannehill is 35 and aging, and he's on the decline. Tennessee is on Hendon Hooker, the former University of Tennessee volunteer quarterback, is on the radar of the Titans. But also, I think that Stroud and Levis might be in there if they can try to move up and see what they can try to do, move up on a trade. But also, they have to figure out what they're going to be doing with Derrick Henry and that contract of his. So there might be a draft day trade for the Tennessee Titans to move. And also, yes, it was made official today, according to Adam Schefter, the New York Football Jets have acquired Aaron Rodgers in a trade. It was amazing. It finally got done. They acquired Aaron Rodgers in a trade, and this is what. So the Packers gave the Jets Aaron Rodgers and a 5th-round pick, and the Jets gave the Packers their 1st-round pick, which is the 13th overall, 2nd-round pick, the 6th-round pick, and a 2024 conditional pick, which is next year's conditional pick, and that pick can be a 1st-round pick if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the offensive snaps. So I think it's a great deal it depends how many years the Jets are going to sign Aaron Rodgers, but I think this is a great job for the Packers to get rid of Aaron Rodgers to be able to get that 1st-round pick and that 2nd-round pick. And so it really puts the Jets in a bind, like in a win-now mode. The Jets had a great defense. I'm sure the Jet fans are happy today. The Jets, they didn't want to get rid of that 13th pick. But if Aaron Rodgers plays the whole season, and so say the Jets only have him for 1 year, but he plays more than 65% of the offensive snaps, the Packers will have a 1st-round pick. And for the Jets, they're hoping that they can get back to the Super Bowl or bust. And Aaron Rodgers will wear number 8. He's not going to wear number 12, even though Broadway Joe mentioned that Aaron Rodgers would be allowed to wear number 12. Aaron Rodgers said, "Nah, I'm just going to wear number 8 because that's the number he wore at University of California." And so Aaron Rodgers, after spending decade plus in Green Bay, is going to the Big Apple to play for the New York Jets and gang green. And I might just say I'm not even that worried about it. I'm not even that worried because the Dolphins defense is going to be ready to stop the Jets this year for sure. So I printed this up about the mock draft before the Jets trade happened. So let's look at what this says. So it says they need an offensive tackle. Yeah, because they think, but right now they don't have the 1st or 2nd-round pick. So the Jets now have to either make another trade to get an offensive lineman, or they need. Oh wait, the Jets don't have a 3rd-rounder. I'm just reading that. Thank you, Todd McShay. So the Jets are in trouble now. Let's see how good that offensive line does, trying to protect Aaron Rodgers. One more team I do want to mention that is interesting, that is intriguing, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can never count out the Pittsburgh Steelers for long, ladies and gentlemen. They're always competitive. So I just wanted to mention that they have contacted teams at 9, teams at 11 to try and trade up for an offensive tackle. The Steelers are trying to get more protection for Kenny Pickett. So let's see what the Steelers can do if they move up from 17 to try and get protection from Kenny Pickett. I also think that looking at the Dolphins draft, the Dolphins right now, as it stands, have their 2nd pick, their 3rd-round pick, their 6th, and their 7th-round pick. So we only have 4 picks, the Dolphins do. And I expect the Dolphins to take flyers on a tight end, a linebacker, an O-lineman, and possibly a running back. If for some way, somehow, we can get those 4 picks and we hit on an O-lineman and a linebacker, just say, that's great. Because we already have running backs. We already have a few tight ends. We got rid of Gesicki, but he wasn't a big target. He was a big target, but McDaniels didn't get him involved in the offense. But if we can hit on an offensive lineman, which Chris Greer historically has been bad at drafting offensive linemen, and if we can hit on a linebacker to give some help to our current linebackers, that would be excellent and just bolster an already great defense. So now, after talking about the NFL draft, let's switch gears on the Leo Be the Lion show to talk about the NBA playoffs that are underway. I'm so excited. The NBA playoffs have been going on almost every night. There's 1 to 2 games, multiple games going on, possibly 3 games. And it just feels like Christmas come early a little bit in the NBA playoffs. Unfortunately, my team, the Orlando Magic, didn't make the playoffs, but Paolo Banchero is the Rookie of the Year, and only good things for the Magic going forward. I'm excited to see that. So let's look at the playoffs, how it's going, give you a status update for the playoffs, and where I think it's going from here. First, let's start with the Eastern Conference. We'll go with the first matchup, which is the 1 versus 8 seed, and that is the 1 Milwaukee Bucks versus the number 8 seed Miami Heat. The Heat lead the series 2-1, and Game 4 is tonight in Miami, 4:24. And personally, I did think that Heat have a chance if Giannis Antetokounmpo continues to be sidelined with his back, or if he aggravates his back tonight, if he plays tonight, which I do believe he is playing. All reports that I've seen from ESPN don't have him on the injury report. So let's just play as if, or just use a scenario as if Giannis is going to play tonight. So the Heat lead the series 2-1. It's in Miami. Giannis can beat the Heat. Giannis and the Bucks can beat the Heat in Miami, but the Heat are without Tyler Hero for the rest of the series and possibly playoffs because he broke his hand. So the Heat have to come with a great win, a great team effort tonight. Bam, I need 25 points out of you. Butler, I need 32 points out of you with 8 assists. I need somebody getting rebounds, and I need Max Strus to go for at least 24 points with 7 rebounds. 7 threes. Let's just try to say that. And then if they can do all that, then the Heat can probably win the game. And if the Bucks have any trouble at making threes tonight, then the Heat have a better chance of winning also. So let's see how the Heat can do going forward. Giannis is back, and chances are he's better than ever, because once your back gets better and the bruising goes down, you're straight. So now let's move to the next matchup, and that is the number 4 seeded Cleveland Cavaliers versus the number 5 New York Knicks. The Knicks lead the series right now, surprisingly 3-1. After taking a game in Cleveland, then they took game 1 in Cleveland, then they lost, and then they were able to and then they were able to win 2 in the Garden behind the play of Jalen Brunson. The Cavs are underperforming right now. Donovan Mitchell had 11 points last night during the last game, and the Knicks are a defensive team led by Tom Thibodeau, a defensive-minded head coach. And the reason why I say this is because no team in the NBA during any regular season game and leading up to a few nights ago, Game 3, had ever scored less than 80 points in the regular season this year. And so the Knicks held the Cavs to 79 points in Game 3, and that was the lowest that anyone had scored in these playoffs. And in the regular season this year. So the Knicks have a defensive game, and Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, who's battling through injuries, RJ Barrett's stepping up. But the Cavs don't think the Cavs are just going to fall down on Game 5. I expect the Cavs to win Game 5 because of Donovan Mitchell's not going to score 11 points again. He's going to have a great game. He's going to try to put the team on his back. You can expect Donovan Mitchell to just have the green light to shoot all night long. Now let's move to the next matchup, and that is the number 3 Sixers versus the Nets. Philly swept the Sixers. Philly swept the Nets and swept Brooklyn 4-0. And in game 4, I believe, Joel Embiid sprained his game 3. Joel Embiid sprained his knee, but the Sixers were still able to win in game 4 without him. And this is the perfect ideal situation for the Sixers in order to give Embiid a chance to get healthy. He sprained his knee. It was a knee sprain, so it's not a near tear or anything like that. A sprain is just a minor little tear, just a little tear, and it could probably heal, in a couple weeks, and so he'll be able to get back. And then the Sixers will face the winner of the Boston and the Hawks series, but it looks like it's going to be Boston, just because the Celtics are up 3-1 on the Hawks, and the Celtics were close to being the number 1 seed this year. And so that brings me to the next Eastern Conference matchup, and that's the last one for this round, and that is the number 2 seeded Boston Celtics versus the number 7 seeded Atlanta Hawks. The Boston Celtics are up 3-1 and looking to close out the series in Game 5 in Boston. And it's looking like the Celtics and the Sixers are on a collision course. This rivalry of the Celtics and Sixers has gone back through the years from the 80s till today, where they've had some great playoff matchups. And a lot of time, the winner of the Boston Celtics and Sixers series have gone on to win the NBA championship in the history, especially in the 80s. So the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers look like to be on a collision course, and the winner of the East will probably be one of these two teams, the Sixers and the Celtics. I still think it could be the Bucks, but chances are whoever beats the Sixers, whoever wins out of the Sixers and Celtics, they're probably going to go to the NBA Finals. Oh, and another thing for the Celtics, they're up 3-1 on the Hawks. I just said that, but DeJounte Murray is out for Game 5 because he bumped the official, and he had some words for the official, and the NBA, doesn't like it when you touch any officiating crew or anything like that. Any sport doesn't like that, so DeJounte Murray's out for Game 5, so it looks like that series is over, baby. Then let's move to the Western Conference. It's the number 1 seeded Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Denver leads right now after winning last night 3-1. Oh, after losing last night 3-1, Denver still leads the series 3-1. And Minnesota won last night on the back of Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards came out saying that, quote, "The series is not over. Just watch. The series is not over." But we'll see, because it looks like it's fixing to be a gentleman's sweep at this point. And the gentleman's sweep means that the Denver Nuggets will look to close it out in Game 5. Gentleman's sweep just means you let the team get one game and then you shut the door on their chances. And so the Timberwolves, they want to make it a series, but it seems like too little too late. And the Nuggets are just a good team. They have Jamal Murray healthy, Jokic is healthy, and they have a good defensive team, and Michael Porter Jr., so they have a good squad. So it looks like the Timberwolves will have to go wait for next year to have a chance. Then let's move to the next game, the next series, which is the number 4 Suns versus the number 5 Clippers. And this, coming into the playoffs, was the one series that people were saying, oh, this could be a chance if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play. Well, Paul George, before Game 1, was ruled out of the series. And then Kawhi Leonard was able to beat the Suns in one of those first 2 games. But then after that, for the past 2 games, the Clippers have been without Kawhi Leonard because he sprained his knee. And this brings up to the rest versus Russ situation. Should he be load managing in the regular season? Well, but if he was playing and ratcheting up his play in the regular season, there's more credence to the thought that, oh, your body's used to playing at that playoff level, so you probably are least likely to get injured. But to be without Paul George and to be now without Kawhi Leonard these last 2 games, the Clippers have fell behind in the series 3-1, and expect the Clippers to be eliminated. Yeah, it's done. There's a fork, stick it in right in there, you pull it out, there's no cake on it or whatever, it's done. So, you know what I'm saying? So, Suns will advance, and I think the Suns are going to be my representative in the West to represent the West in the NBA Finals, unless the next team that I'm about to get to starts going off and gets hot, because they are the defending champs. The next series is the number 3 seed Kings versus the number 6 seed Warriors, and the Warriors are the defending NBA champs. After being up 2-0, the Kings dropped 2 straight in the series, and now the series is tied 2-2. They were up 2-0 for Game 3. Going into Game 3, Draymond Green was suspended, so it looked like, oh man, the Kings need to win that to go up 3-0. Well, with Draymond Green getting suspended, the Warriors somehow found a way to win, and with Green getting suspended, the Warriors found a way to win, and then last night, the Warriors won with Draymond Green back. And now, for the Kings, just for another shoe to fall, is that De'Aaron Fox is out for Game 5 because he has a broken index finger on his. He's lefty, so he has a broken index finger. And they say it's not like the middle of his finger. They say it's the very tip of his finger. And that has to be excruciating. And there's no way that you can shoot a ball, because when you want to shoot a basketball, you wanted the last 2 fingers that touches, you want to be your index finger and your middle finger on your shooting hand. So to be able to get that rotation. So if he doesn't have that finger, he's done. So the Kings, just look for the Kings to probably be eliminated after being up 2-0. I expect the Warriors, if they can win a road game and they play better on the road, they were 11-29 this year, or 11-30 this year on the road. If the Kings have any chance, they have to win at home. We'll see what happens with the Kings and Warriors series. The Warriors are looking like they're in rare form, like they are the defending champs, which they are. And the series is probably over if Fox can't play in these other games. Now let's move to the final Western Conference series that's going on right now, and that's the Grizzlies, number 2 seed Grizzlies versus the number 7 seeded Lakers. The Lakers lead this series 2-1. Ja was unable to play in the second game, but the Lakers were able to take Game 1 and Game 3. And this is an interesting series is because, oh man, I forgot his name. He just looks like Ice-T in the Players Haters Club. Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, before Game 3, he said that, oh, LeBron's washed up. He's old. He's 40. Like, it stinks that I get to play him, that I have to play against him now. I'd rather play against him when he was in his prime. And LeBron was like, okay, he didn't really say much. And neither did the Lakers. They just proceeded to go up 35 to score 35 points in the first quarter, and I believe 39 points, and broke their record for most playoff points in the first quarter. And the Lakers were able to take care of business and go up 2-1. But then, after the Grizzlies lost, Dylan Brooks had more to say, and he said that the media was responsible for turning him into a villain, after he just talked about LeBron James before Game 3 started. But after Game 3, now he's saying, oh, that the media made me a villain. I wasn't really saying all that. But yes, you were. That was almost like, and to quote to remind you of another Dave Chappelle show reference, it was almost like when Rick James was like, yeah, I would never put my feet on somebody's couch. I would never touch somebody's couch. So why do I look like putting my feet on somebody's couch? And then the next clip, he says, yeah, I remember putting my feet on their couch. That's exactly what happened with Dylan Brooks. He was like, oh, yeah, LeBron's washed up. He stinks. He's 40 years old. And then he says the media's out to get him. So, yeah, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. I expect the Lakers to win this series. The Grizzlies are too young. The Lakers are healthier. AD and LeBron are going to be too much, and the supporting cast are going to be too much for the Memphis Grizzlies to take care of business. Ja can't do everything. They're missing Steven Adams. And Jaren Jackson, yeah, he plays good defensively, but he's not really that offensive threat. So now, after the series, I do still have the Suns and the Bucks playing in the NBA Finals, but we shall see. Right now, if I had to revise it, which I'm not going to, but if I had to, I would say I want the Celtics and the Warriors in the finals, because I think that would be an awesome matchup to see Tatum and Brown versus Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. To see if he could do it, if Curry could go for his 5th title, or if the Celtics could break through and win their first title with Tatum and Brown. So now, let's switch it over to my hashtag 5-pack of picks. My record going into last week was 65, 47, and 2. And thanks to the Heat, 62, 46, 62, 45, and 2. I apologize. 17 games over 500. And thanks to last week, I had the Heat winning the Lakers, the Pels, the Braves, and the Yankees. Well, the Braves won, the Yankees won, and the Lakers won. But the Pelicans lost and the Heat lost, so I went 3-2 for my most recent set of hashtag 5-pack of picks. And that brought my record to 65, 47, and 2, which is 18 games over 500, so another game deeper into the money. And let's get started for these last few minutes for these new, fresh set of 5-pack of picks. Let's go. First one, this week, I have the Celtics. It's really a big limb that I'm going out on. But I have the Celtics beating the Hawks in Game 5 to advance to the Eastern Conference semis. That game is on Tuesday, 4/25. The reason why I think this is going to happen, happened before I found out about DeJounte Murray news, but the Celtics are going for the gentleman's sweep, and Boston is just too much for Atlanta, even if they had DeJounte Murray. But DeJounte Murray isn't playing, and it's time for the Boston Celtics to finish the series, to not give the Philadelphia 76ers any more time to rest up and get healthy to face them. Then the next pick so I have the Celtics for my first pick in the hashtag 5-pack picks. Then I have the Cleveland Cavaliers winning in Cleveland on Wednesday. They are the 4 seed, so Game 5 will be at home for Cleveland. And Game 5 winning at home to force a Game 6 in Madison Square Garden. I think the Knicks, it's only human nature, up 3-1. You might drop a game. Julius Randle is still fighting through that ankle injury. I really think and believe that the Cavs will have the home court advantage, and the Knicks will drop the game because it's a letdown from Game 4. You saw how hyped the crowd was, how excited the Knicks were to have won Game 4 to go up 3-1. I fully expect the Cavs to go home to Cleveland and to beat the Knicks to force a Game 6 in Madison Square Garden for this first round matchup. Then my third pick in the hashtag 5-pack of picks is the Lakers. The Lakers are playing the Memphis Grizzlies tonight in Game 4 to have a chance to go up 3-1. LeBron and AD are healthy. Expect the role players to step up in La La Land tonight. It's going to be played at the Crypto.com Arena. So the role players usually show up at home and they hide away. So expect players like Austin Reeves and them, Rui Hachimura, to really take care of business. And I believe the Lakers will beat Memphis tonight in Game 4 to go up 3-1 in the series. And the Grizzlies will feel the effects of not being at full strength and placing a lot of the game on to Ja Morant's shoulders. And if Ja is contained, I expect it to be an easy win for the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's go to my fourth pick in my hashtag 5-pack of picks. We're going to the baseball side now. I expect the Yankees are playing the Twins on Wednesday night. And Domingo Germán is pitching for the Yankees. And yeah, he's 1-2 record right now, but I expect the Yankees to go into Minnesota and beat the Twins. Right now, the current records for the Yankees are 13-9, and the Twins are 12-10. So they're really close in record-wise. But the Yankees have Anthony Volpe, and they have Aaron Judge, and their lineup is on fire lately. So give me the Yankees to beat the Minnesota Twins in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities, on Wednesday evening or Wednesday afternoon. Kenta Maeda is pitching for the Twins, and he's 0-3 with like a 6 ERA. So I expect the Yankees lineup to feast on them. Then for my last pick in my hashtag 5-pack of picks, I'm going with the Marlins on Wednesday. Somebody told me on IG, oh yeah, you can follow me on IG at Leo Be the Lion Show, but somebody commented to me on IG that you should never put money on the Marlins. Well, I'm just going to try it. Sandy Alcantara is pitching on Wednesday, and hopefully he'll get off the schneid. His first outing, he pitched a gem. I believe it was 6 shutout or 7 shutout innings. His next two outings, Sandy Alcantara gave up like 4 or 5 runs each inning, or each of the outings. Then he said he had some bicep soreness, so he was going to be out. So I believe he was scratched one start, and now Sandy Alcantara is expected to start on Wednesday. Let's see if he can get off the schneid and take care of business and beat the Braves. The Braves are traditionally a good rival and take care of business against the Marlins. So let's see if the Miami Marlins on Wednesday can step it up and beat the Braves. So for my hashtag 5-pack of picks, it is the Celtics beating the Hawks in Game 5, the Cavs beating the Knicks in Game 5, the Lakers beating Memphis tonight in Game 4, the Yankees beating the Twins on Wednesday, and the Marlins beating the Braves on Wednesday as well. This has been the Leo Be the Lion show, coming to you live from Respectable Street here at Subculture Radio and via subcultureradio.com. I come to you live every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can see my videos once they're posted on YouTube and IG at Leo Be the Lion Show. And feel free to comment. And thank you so much for listening. As always, this is Leo Be the Lion signing off.